Hello there friends, CS News Live here. In today's video, team captains boycott blast. Allu reveals the truth behind Alexey Biskik. Did Turkish fans give Eternal Fire a boost in the finals? And much more from the world of CS2. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. So we shall kick off our episode with an interview from Dupreeh, which he gave during Blast's media day. According to the Danish CS legend, his team will be the underdogs in every match at the tournament, which might help ease some of the pressure on the players. Dupreeh also mentioned that this could allow the team to play more aggressively and take risks, since everyone expects a poor result from them. In case of a loss, no one would blame them because it's anticipated. However, the Dane made it clear that he's determined to win their first match against Navi. He's highly motivated, especially because it's been a while since he played in front of a home crowd. He's eager to perform for the Danish fans. During the media day, Navi also gave an interview. The Canadian player opened up about Team Liquid's frequent struggles against top 5 teams. According to Navi, the team always aims for semi-finals at least, but they're mostly satisfied with reaching the top 8, as that is the realistic goal. He also assessed his own performance in the previous tournament, admitting that he played terribly. Navi mentioned that it's been tough for him or his teammates to get some frags because Ultimate takes on a lot of responsibility. Still, he emphasized that everyone on the team has been performing at a high level. He promised to push himself to the limit at Blast and improve his stats. And to make sure you don't miss any stellar plays from Liquid or keep track of Navi's progress, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. The link is in the description. While some teams are heads down into Blast, others are resting after EPL or making roster changes. And Fnatic were the first to make the move. They brought in Nog to replace Afro, though for now it's only a loan. But yeah, chances are the team will sign him permanently later. Roster changes also happened in MIBR. After the Brazilians made it to the quarterfinals of the previous tournament, they decided to further strengthen up their lineup by signing Alexey, who had been performing pretty well with Fluxo. Many are already calling this an incredible upgrade for the team, but we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. Insiders are also buzzing about potential roster changes. Reports suggest that several teams are eyeing Jimpphat from Mouse, including FaZe and Vitality. The French org seems the most likely to make a move, planning to replace Messi. However, they can only do this after the major, as doing so before would violate the rules, which could block the transfer. Plus, if they try to buy him out earlier, it would cost a whole penny, if you know what I mean. Be honest, my friends, would you like to see Jimpphat on another team, or do you think Mouse is the only one capable of unlocking his full potential? Write your thoughts in the comments below. Speaking of roster changes, we couldn't pass up on Allu's revelation about the real story behind Alexey Biskik from ENCE back in 2019. So basically, Allu released a book. Yeah, that's right. And there he says that the one who initiated the kick was Sergey, who wanted to remove AleksiB even before IM Katowice. However, the org opposed the idea since the team was starting to win and getting invites to major tournaments. During the summer break, Sergey gave management an ultimatum, ENCE either would kick AleksiB or he would leave. At that time, Sergey was considered one of the strongest and most promising players in CSGO, so ENCE had to make a tough decision. There were also rumors that Allu was jealous of Alexey, and he pushed for his friend Sonny to become the new captain, but that turned out to be false, as Sonny only joined after AleksiB was kicked. Continuing with ENCE, we have to mention that Bro is currently being tested by the team, becoming one of the hottest topics in the recent days. This Danish talent is undergoing trials at ENCE, which sparked mixed reactions from the community. Richard Lewis, for example, joked that, according to Astralis, Bro has health issues preventing him from competing at tournaments, yet he's apparently healthy enough to trial for other teams. And honestly, it doesn't even sound like a joke, it sounds sad. For Astralis, obviously, but we will get to that. As for the actual prospect of Bro, he could become an incredible addition to ENCE. He might become the exact piece they are looking for. And now, my friends, let's discuss my most favorite topic of the last, I don't know, half a year. Surely it's the scandal with Astralis. But first, let's revisit the timeline of events. So it all began when Astralis replaced Bro with Karrigan. The issue here is that Bro was registered in the roster log for Blast, meaning he was obligated to participate in the tournament. However, the Danes utilized their right to replace him due to health issues, to which Bro and his agent clearly stated that the player was completely healthy and ready to compete, which basically implies that he should be the one playing in the tournament, not Karrigan. Nevertheless, Blast decided to allow Karrigan to play and didn't do anything about the situation. They basically believed what Astralis said. Bro has health issues and Karrigan will stand in. But for example, in contrast, when Rain from FaZe clan couldn't attend the tournament because his wife was giving birth to his son, the organizers denied a substitute, despite being informed in advance. And this is where the things heated up. To protest this decision, the captains of 6 out of 8 teams attending Blast refused to go to the media day. They basically said that they were sick. They didn't participate in photo shoots, videos, or interviews. The 6 captains were Karrigan, Apex, Snappy, AleksiB, Twists, and Snacks. The only teams to show up with their captains and in full squads were Spirit and Astralis. But Chopper from Team Spirit explained that he was just unaware of the plan. I imagine how the captains of these 6 teams just didn't have Chopper's WhatsApp or Snapchat or I don't know. It's kind of funny. And Heroic in their own passive-aggressive style released some merch with the phrase "I'm unfit to play today," which is also kinda hilarious. So as a result, the teams that arrived without their captains on the media day received 1 penalty point, while accumulating 6 points means a team will skip 1 match. While if you get 12 points, you get excluded from one of the tournament stages. You might ask, what's the big deal? It's just Blast, but I will explain the chain of events. You see, for Blast tournaments, Valve awards points for participation in their events, meaning if a team skips a tournament, they might not qualify for the major. Or you can get, for example, to the opening stage of the major instead of the elimination stage, which is decided by the Valve's points. So this whole thing is much bigger. So Astralis just wanted to sneak in through Bro's health issues to escape penalties and replace him with Karrigan, which led to the captains, I mean all of them, just to listen to this, Karrigan, Apex, Snappy, AleksiB, Twists, Snacks and Chopper all together submitting a statement to Blast, highlighting 2 key points. First, the rule regarding emergency substitutions. If Bro is unable to play, the rules state that he should be replaced by the coach, not another player. Second, they emphasize that mental health should not be exploited or used for personal gain. In response, Blast modified their rules, allowing teams to substitute a player for another. But here's the trick. In 2025. But the most fun part is that Blast said, I will quote, "In this 2024 final case, we have been given no reason to question Astralis's original statement to us," to which they got blasted with Bro's agent's quote. "As we represent Bro, teams have reached out to me regarding his health or mental condition. He's fully fine. Obviously, unfortunate he got benched. Nevertheless, Alex is fully healthy and ready to perform." I mean, friends, you just can't script it on purpose. This is peak Astralis moment. And the most fun part is that people from the community don't get surprised by the fact that it was Astralis who were trying to cheat, because it happened before, a lot of times. People are obviously and fairly mad at Blast, because they made a poor decision. However, Blast announced that Astralis would lose seeding points and receive 25% less prize money. And Karrigan was just ruthless. Donate that deduction to a mental health charity. Anyways, as a result, Astralis can play with Karrigan but will earn less money and damage their reputation in the process. And other teams faced penalties as well. There's also a whole trend online on Twitter regarding the Brovid, everyone getting sick and all that. However, this conflict didn't go unnoticed. Many have started talking about the creation of a professional players association. Interestingly, we already had one, the CSPPA, Counter-Strike Professional Players Association, which has been forgotten about. This org focused on issues related to players' mental health and gambling problems and other concerns. But at some point, it faded into obscurity as many players involved with it just retired. And now, considering the situation with with Astralis, Blast and Bro, the discussions about reviving or creating such an org have begun again. Its goal should be to protect players' rights in various situations. It would also be beneficial if they could influence ESIC, as the commission doesn't always make the right decisions, and a players' association could help with that. By the way, another issue this association could address is the frequency of tournaments, because, for example, recently JL complained that the team had no time for training or rest. After EPL they had a flight one day, media day the next, and then their first game right after. And yeah, this problem of tournament frequency has been discussed for a while, to be honest. For some players this has even led to taking breaks from professional play to recover their mental health and physical as well. So we will only wish Navi players and all others strength, as there's just a little bit of time left until the main tournament of the season and then the long-awaited break. Now let's discuss another scandal of the recent days. In our previous video we covered the final match between Navi and Eternal Fire at the ESL Pro League, which took place on LAN in a relatively small venue, which was filled with Turkish fans. After the match, Blade from Navi commented that the Turkish fans were shouting and giving hints to their favorite players. In response, Major claimed that they didn't hear the fans because there were only about 15 of them compared to Navi's 30 or 40 supporters. To back up his statement that they didn't hear the fans, Major shared a video of him outplaying Wonderful, who was in a tight position and constantly shifting. And it basically turned out that the sniper made a sound and Major reacted. Thorin then chimed in, arguing that Major was wrong if he believed only Navi benefited from fan cheers. He referenced a clip from Anubis where a Turkish fan shouted "Arka," meaning behind, leading to the Navi lurker being killed without any prior info about his position.
Right now.
Next, Messi also joined the discussion, recalling that during Blast Istanbul 2018, the Turkish fans were so loud that they were ejected from the arena. Navi's JL also joined the conversation, saying that the fans of Eternal Fire were very vocal and shouted various obscenities at Navi. My friends, what's our take on this? I mean, fans should not be ejected from the arena, but also giving hints is a part of playing at LAN, I guess. Maybe get better soundproof booths, maybe get some headgear that couldn't allow to hear. I don't know, but never ever eject the fans from the arena. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, my friends, let's move to the opening matches of Blast Fall Finals. And we will start with the showdown between Navi and Falcons. It all kicked off on Anubis, Falcons' pick. Navi started on the T side, gaining an early advantage by winning the first 3 rounds. Falcons managed to fight back and even took a lead. However, Navi quickly responded with a run of 4 straight, ending the first half with a score of 7-5. When Falcons switched to the T side, they had a chance to come back. But there was Bit with a perfect quadro kill in the pistol round. And Falcons were just cooked. And Wonderful then sealed the deal with an ace, crushing any remaining hopes of the Saudi squad. From that point on, the match was effectively over. Navi didn't drop a single round during the city side. Next up was Ancient, Navi's pick. Interestingly, they for some reason didn't go for Mirage, even though it was a viable option. The game started off well for Navi as they won the first 4 rounds on the T side. However, that momentum shifted dramatically when Falcons claimed 7 rounds in a row, leaving Navi with no chance to recover. Navi managed to secure one final round and it was 7-5 in favor of Falcons. After that side switch, the teams seemed to have flipped roles, but this time it worked in favor of Navi, who won nearly 8 rounds straight, largely thanks to JL, who scored a massive 4 in a pivotal round. Ultimately, Navi took the match 2-0 and advanced through the upper bracket. The next match was a showdown between FaZe and G2, starting on Dust 2, FaZe's pick. The game began quite well for G2, who secured the initial stage by winning 4 rounds on the T side. However, FaZe responded with 3 of their own. G2 managed to win another round and wanted to take more, but Brokey had other plans. In the following round, he pulled pulled off a wonderful 1v2 clutch, which allowed FaZe to take 3 more rounds in a row. As a result, the first half ended in a tie. After the side change, FaZe won the pistol round, and that was pretty much it. The Samurai lost only 1 round, winning 7 straight. Next up was Inferno, chosen by G2. The start was similar to the previous map, as G2 won the opening, taking 3 in a row. However, then they faltered, giving up almost 8 rounds consecutively, which allowed FaZe to lead in the first half. The script of the first map began to repeat itself, but this time in favor of FaZe. G2 only managed to secure the pistol round and the force buy before conceding 5 straight, which led to the decider, Mirage. As always, G2 started strong on defense, winning the pistol round and the force buy. However, FaZe began to dominate, claiming 5 consecutive rounds. This was followed by a brief back and forth, but ultimately it was Karrigan and his team to come out on top, bringing the score to 8-4. But after the side switch, G2 won nearly 9 rounds in a row. FaZe just vanished from the map. And the logical conclusion came from Melps, who secured a clutch quadro kill to seal the deal. Next on the schedule was the match between Astralis and Vitality, and it seemed Apex decided to express his protest through a decisive victory. The match started on Inferno, Astralis's pick. Again, it was a map picked by Astralis. And I will sum it up quickly. 13-0. Yes, that's not a joke. 13-0. The map was memorable for 2 aces. One from against Aniko in the second round, and another from Flames in the final round of the first half. Astralis had their efforts to turn things around, especially Device, who almost pulled off a 1v4 but narrowly missed it. Next up was Dust 2, Vitality's pick, and at first it seemed like the game would be a bit more balanced. After Vitality took the first 3 rounds, the Danes responded with their own series of 3. Then they secured another thanks to a clutch from Yabi, and that was it. After that, Astralis failed to win a single round, conceding 9 in a row. Whether the recent scandal has seriously impacted the org or the team, or they simply weren't prepared, the feeling that the roster change was unnecessary is only growing. Lastly, we had the match between Spirit and Liquid, which kicked off on Dust 2, Liquid's pick. Here, it's enough to say that Dunk solo outperformed NAF, Ultimate and JKS combined. Spirit completely shut down Liquid on their Dust. 13-3. Next up was Nuke, Spirit's pick, and the game turned out to be much more intense. Liquid started on the defense, which gave them a significant early advantage. After winning the pistol round, they dropped 2, but then secured 5, finishing the first half with a score of 8-4. However, it wasn't that all gloom for the Dragons, as they switched to the stronger side and were ready to mount a comeback. Although things got tougher as Liquid won 2 more rounds, 10-4. But once the Dragons got the gold, they started winning rounds. And quite effectively, I should say. They took 6 and wanted to keep going. But ultimately, with their substantial initial lead, the American team managed to close it out on Spirit's pick, so it was a tie. NAF and Ultimate combined for 50 frags, showcasing an excellent performance from both players. The final map was Anubis. Spirit started on the T side and needed to take control right away, but that didn't happen. After going up 3-2, Liquid seized the momentum and won 6 rounds in a row, establishing a 2-round lead while playing on the weaker side. After the switch, the match turned into a real roller coaster. The teams were just winning and losing and taking turns with 2-round streaks. However, Liquid's significant advantage allowed them to close it out, and Team Spirit dropped to the lower bracket. As a result, the lower bracket will feature matchups between FaZe and Falcons, as well as Spirit versus Astralis, while the upper bracket will showcase Vitality against Liquid and Navi taking on G2. The first elimination match featured a showdown between FaZe and Falcons, with Karrigan's squad appearing as clear favorites. It all kicked off on Nuke, Falcons' pick, but initially it seemed as if FaZe had chosen the map themselves, as they jumped to a 5-0 lead straight. Falcons only managed to secure the first rounds when the score reached 8-1. Ultimately, the first half concluded with FaZe holding a significant advantage. However, Falcons switched to defense, where they had the chance to mount a comeback. Unfortunately though, FaZe extended their lead with another 3-round series. But afterwards, Falcons began to gain momentum, first with a series of 3 rounds, then another 4. The issue was that FaZe was also on the move, and they clinched the crucial 2 rounds needed to win the first map. Next up was Ancient FaZe's pick. This time it felt like the teams just swapped places. Falcons straight jumped to a 5-0 lead, and only then Boycott had a chance to win a 1v3 to keep his team in the game. By the end of the first half, FaZe remembered they were the favorites and closed the gap to 5-7. In the second half, Frozen nearly brought his team back, but he failed to defuse the bomb in time, but it was a nice try. What followed were the tense back and forths, with rounds decided in the last moments, leading to overtimes, which was also tightly contested. FaZe initially secured 3 rounds in defense, but Falcons did the same. The second overtimes featured a classic quadro kill from Karrigan, pushing the game into the third overtimes, where the tension escalated further. Boycott clinched an incredible 1v4, but unfortunately for FaZe, it wasn't enough, and Falcons ultimately took their opponent's pick. The entire match came down to the decider, Dust 2. In the first half, the game was very close and balanced, with many rounds being decided in clutches. For example, Frozen pulled off a crazy 1v3 with just 15 HP left. In another round, FaZe, despite taking B, surprisingly lost a 2v4, which led to 6-6 at halftime. However, after that, the game just fell apart for Falcons. FaZe won 7 consecutive rounds in CT, sending Falcons home. After the match, Zonic said that they definitely needed reshuffles, so I guess Nico is really coming soon. The second match featured a showdown between Navi and G2. Here, it's worth mentioning that G2 had lost to Navi in 8 consecutive matches, with their last win dating back to 8th of February 2023, when NPL and Simple were still part of the roster. God, that was another era. Anyways, onto the match. It started on Dust 2, G2's pick. The Samurai came out strong as Navi only managed to win their first series of rounds at 8-1. Throughout the first half, m0NESY dominated his opponents. However, the second half mirrored the first, but this time Navi were on top. This led to a well-deserved victory for Navi on the first map, and G2 secured only a single round. Honestly, it was an incredible comeback. And next up was Ancient's Navi's pick. Here, Navi completely dominated the first half. G2 managed to win their first round only at 7-0, thanks to Nico pulling off one of his signature Deagle plays. No, not that one Deagle play, but the good one. This led to a 3-round advantage for Navi in the first half. After switching sides, the situation worsened for G2 as Navi won the pistol round and the force buy. G2 tried to mount a comeback, winning 5 rounds in a row, but that was where their momentum ended. In the penultimate round, G2 nearly lost a Nico with only pistols, after which Navi had enough money for a full buy and closed out the game, defeating the Samurai on their own pick. So it's a 2-0, it was an easy walk for Navi, although at the beginning it was kinda shaky. Anyways, good job. The second match in the lower bracket featured Astralis versus Spirit, starting on Ancient, the Dane's pick. Spirit won the pistol round thanks to Zontex, who pulled off a 1v2. After that, Astralis wanted to avenge their loss from the previous day. They secured 9 rounds in the first half and completely shut down Spirit in the second half, finishing the map 13-3. A very solid performance, to be honest. Next was to Dust 2, Spirit's pick, which they just entirely dominated. The Dragons started really strong, winning 4 rounds in a row, followed by 2 more and another series of 2, resulting in a 2-round advantage in the first half. But in the second half, Spirit just finished the job, conceding only 1 round. And finally, we had Mirage, which turned out to be the closest map of the entire matchup. Spirit started strong, again with Astralis only managing to get back into the game at 5-2. It resulted in a logical 7-5 lead for Spirit. Astralis could have snatched the first round of the second half if not for Zontex, again who prevented Stare from winning a 1v3. After that, Astralis went on a 5-round streak, bringing the score to 11-9. However, Spirit didn't want to lose, as they won 4 rounds in a row and ultimately closed the map. So Astralis were eliminated and now must reflect on their performance. And yesterday's final match was a showdown between Liquid and Vitality. It started on Anubis, Liquid's pick. After winning the pistol round, Liquid faced their first challenges as Vitality secured 3 rounds in a row. The game turned into a true back and forth, but towards the end, Liquid just put themselves together and won 4 consecutive rounds. However, after Vitality took the stronger side, they began to come back, managing to secure 6 rounds straight. But then they conceded 5, putting Liquid on map point. But after that, the game went to overtimes, where Vitality decisively closed out Liquid, winning 4 rounds in a row. Next was Nuke, Vitality's pick. The situation for Vitality was less favorable, as they lost 3 rounds straight and Ultimate took out Zyvu. After that, Liquid went on to win another 4-round series, ending the first half with a score of 9-3, and things looked shaky for Vitality. Many were ready to step away from their screens and wait for the decider, but not so fast. Vitality began to come back, winning 2 series of 5 rounds, while Liquid could respond only with 2 rounds of their own. The second half was highlighted by an ace from Flames, which effectively sealed Liquid's fate on the second map. In the end, the quarterfinals will feature Liquid versus FaZe and G2 against Spirit, while Vitality and Navi will await the winners of these matches in the semifinals. And that's all for today, my friends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. We're not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.